structure also, where organizational organ in people in organization can directly talk to any other organizational head directly. So a flat structure is also a organizational structure, I think.
Yeah, but
And
again, you're talking
organizational.
about, yeah, again, you're coming back to something like, your hierarchy or designation when we talk about flag structure. Again, we are coming back to the same. But what other can you see as part of structure?
Ma'am, a business process can be structurized.
Okay. So the processes or the functions, right? So there could be a functional structure. What is again, functional structure can be differentiated from one organization to another. That is functional structure. What else? Is there something like specialization?
Responsibility also, responsibility and as well as the communication.
Yeah, just give me a minute. Yeah, okay. So we were talking about organizational structure, right? So we came out with something like specialization structure. What is specialization structure? What could that mean? Hey, put your cameras on.
Ma'am, a specialized structure would be a departmental structure, a distinct work which is done in structured way.
Okay. Could it be the competency?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so we talked about three kinds of structures, right? We said functional structure. Then what? Hierarchical structure. Is it flat, horizontal, vertical? Those kind of structures. And functional.
Functional.
Specialization, functional, and
Ma'am, matrix.
matrix comes under what kind of structure? What is matrix?
It will show who will give the accountable, who is accountable to whom. Like if there are more than two supervisor, then it is a
So
matrix.
does it mean hierarchical?
Yes, ma'am. It is kind of hierarchical. It is a part.
Yes, ma'am. Two managers will be there, so we have to report to dual or thrice sometimes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And what is organizational controls? So what do we understand by controls? Organizational controls.
Ma'am, the monitoring and the controlling of a business process, like supervisor supervise the low level employees, and then those supervisor report to manager, then manager report to CEO or CTO. So that
Okay.
That can be an organizational control.
So isn't there something like, okay, operation students, operational control? Is there something of this sort?
Ma'am, like controlling the performance of the organization, like how much output they are producing and efficiency and all that, ma'am.
And there is finance control also.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So why do we need organizational structure and controls? And why are we learning it in strategy class?
Ma'am, because a structure gives a quality performance and efficiency and
Hmm.
control over the process, and in a strategy we look for efficiency, control, and quality of the goods that we are providing.
Okay. Yeah, Anshul?
Ma'am, so if we implement organization proper organizational structure in an organization, so it will basically improve the communication within the organization, and
Mm-hmm.
also it will enhance the decision making process. It's like the whole process flow will be more smoother.
Okay. We had somebody else raising their hand. Who was it? Rajput?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Ma'am, organized structure is provide guidance to all employees so that govern the workflow of the company in better way.
Okay. No, but why does it come in strategy?
Ma'am, to do the task efficiently,
Okay.
because the
Mm-hmm.
tasks are divided properly, and the professionals are expert in that, so they know how to do the tasks.
Okay. Fine. So, organizational controls is, the last part of strategy that we are going to talk about. And then comes strategic leadership, which we won't be doing. So I had very clearly explained in the beginning of the session itself as to how we are going to divide the strategy class. Now, your structure and controls will continue for the next session as well, because you will be doing some presentations. I've already put up the assignment. So in the next class, we will be having, presentations from each one of you. I don't know how many groups are there in your class. Are there 7 groups in your class? How does your class divide into groups? Coco will take care of this. I have put 7 groups, but Coco is there or not, or absconding? Yash is a Coco.
He might be facing something network issue, ma'am.
Okay, so Yash is having network issue. Harshad knows that.
Yes, ma'am. In a starting he was there, but right now it's something issue,
I
facing
can
network
still
issue.
see him, but I don't hear him. That means either he has gone off to sleep. It's a good afternoon, cool, or or as you say, maybe genuinely he has some problems. But anyways, how about the girl? Is there any girls Coco? Girl Coco? You have got 2 Cocos, right? From your class. Actually, it's difficult when you can't see expressions of people. Please keep your cameras on. Unless you're in bed sleeping and you're having to attend my class. Keep your cameras on. What's the problem in showing ourselves? Tell me. Teja?
Ma'am, some of the people turn off their camera because of bandwidth issue, I think.
Shubhajit? This is an old excuse and a foolish one. Very foolish one. It's an escape excuse. And you don't do it for others, please. I'm asking you why you don't want to show your face many a times. Now you're of course showing your face, but then there are times when you don't want to, right? Why? Why does this happen?
Ma'am, sometimes there will be a people coming around, so sometimes we used to keep on. No, that's one of the situations, ma'am. Saying not every time.
That is only when you know your father or mother is standing behind wanting to see what you're doing, and then you want to just at that time you may kind of put off your camera, and you will also tell them sternly, don't stand behind, I am in a class, right? And then you continue with your class, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So that Teja, that's not an excuse for keeping the camera off throughout the class. But
Yes,
you
ma'am.
had to
Throughout
tell
the
some
classes,
answer. No, I kept asking,
ma'am.
Teja, tell me, Teja,
Yes,
tell me. So, okay, okay,
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is a good answer.
No, ma'am. Like I agree to a point, ma'am. Like throughout the class is not valid, but sometimes once in a while we used to keep off so that after the adjustment is done, we will keep on.
Faizan, what stops us from this is a psychological issue actually.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to tell you, this is going to be a big problem for all of us. Mankind is going through that phase, where they're actually, probably there's some kind of a mental block that is stopping us from showing ourselves. Or maybe, we don't want to listen to the class. The best is just keep your cameras off and do anything you want, because you don't want to listen to the class. Yeah, Aditi. Looks like Aditi is the only girl here and Aishwarya. All other girls are bunking, is it? Yeah, Aditi, what is the reason? Why don't we want to show ourselves in classes? I mean, it's not just my class, all the classes, right? All the teachers are facing this problem. They look into a blank screen, an emotionless screen. Yeah, Aditi, what did you say? I thought you said something.
And she said, don't know.
What you don't know? You haven't? What is it? Had a shower? Oh, if you're not taking the shower, don't sit near me. You're not sitting near me, right? You're in a screen. That's a very honest answer. Not taken a shower. That's all my classes. My God. None of my sessions you have taken shower. Huh? Enjoy it. You're lucky. You're in such a pleasant weather. So we always live with some reason or the other, no? And then we enjoy this herd mentality. Everybody is putting off their camera. Chalo yaar, why should I keep my camera on? That's how we end up. Because we feel that everybody is not putting on the camera and I should be like them, not be different. And let me tell you, this is a major issue, major issue. These are people who are lacking confidence, who are not focused, because now I'm in the class. My focus is you. My focus is the course, right? So I'm not focused if I'm not putting on the camera. And I have all alternative devious plans of not listening and doing something else. So it is lack of confidence, lack of focus, and so many things that adds up here. So anyways, I think it's for you to introspect. You're all adults and you must realize as to what's happening to you all and why you're not able to do this. So we have this 8:30 to 9, meditation sessions. I don't put my camera on, but I'm there in the meditation and I am part of it completely. The reason why I don't put the camera on is I don't want to distract others, and I don't want anybody watching me when I'm meditating. So it's like I prefer to keep my camera off. But otherwise, when I'm teaching, I have to have my camera on. And when you're listening, you have to have your cameras on, irrespective of who the teacher is. I'm not talking for myself, but I'm talking for all the teachers, the teacher community, which is today feeling a big loss because there's a classroom which is blank. And we have never ever experienced this kind of a classroom. We have always had live classrooms, interactive classrooms, classroom with expressions. But unfortunately, today this is what we are going through. And nobody can make it better but you, for every teacher. So keep your cameras on for every teacher. I think that is the least respect you can give when you're not around physically. That's the least respect that you can give to the teacher, stating that, yes, you're all attention for what she's talking. Right? Anyway, so I have put an assignment, and I would want that this assignment is divided between, between groups. But since your class has got a mixture of FM, FinTech, and operations, the COCOs will take a call on how they want to divide it between you all. Okay. And so now I'll just touch upon the concepts of organizational structure and controls. But when you do the assignment, because I've given you specific organizations and I've asked you to study these organizations and do your analysis. And I've also specified what are those areas I want you to touch upon in the area of structure, in the area of controls. So this assignment should not exceed 2 pages, should be very crisp, concise, and should carry all the necessary points that I have asked for. Okay. And only one student who is part of the group will upload the assignment, but will carry all the names of the students who are part of the assignment. Okay. And please coordinate with all the team members. Don't leave anybody. Include all of them. Divide the task between all of you. Okay. But see to it that everybody in your team is engaged. And if somebody voluntarily doesn't engage himself, pull them out of the assignment and don't include the name of that student in your assignment. Okay. So show your team spirit, show your, the communication skills by talking to all those who are part of your team, and work on how you want to create that assignment. Okay. There will always be differences when we discuss, but it's also important to throw those differences aside and look at the possible ways of progressing forward. Otherwise, what we do is we just keep dwelling on the differences. We keep delving deeper into the problems. We don't move out of them. But in life, this is what you need to do. You have to move out of your issues, your problems, your differences, and you have to move with a proper solution. Otherwise, you will get stagnated wherever you are. And these are all small habits which can actually be formed up to make it a part of your life. And let me tell you that all these habits come out of your perspective. How you look at things is your perspective, right? And your perspective is what is making a habit out of it. And when these become habits and that rigidity develops, they become a part of your character. And your character is such that you don't get along well with anybody. You have a lot of problem with interpersonal communications. And when this is your character, you're carving your destiny. Nobody wants to work with you. They sideline you. So you carve your destiny out of your perspective and all your judgments. Your judgments is what is creating, that rock inside you. The rock, which is so hard and rigid that it doesn't allow any kind of empathy, kindness, emotions to draw in. So one of the reasons we give projects and ask students to work together is also because students should be able to communicate with one another, because this is what you're going to do at your offices, at the corporate. Nobody works alone in the corporate. We always do collaborative work. And people who don't do collaborative work are thrown out of organizations. I know the best of IIMs and IITs who have been asked to have been laid off. You know why? Because they had the best of intelligences but lacked team spirit, lacked communication skills, interpersonal skills, felt that they were the best, and ultimately they were asked to move out of the organization because they could not get along with anybody in the organization. So that is foremost. Your intelligence will follow, but interaction with people should always be in the positive side, in the positive manner. Okay, so the project has to be completed by you and uploaded by tomorrow evening. So you have a very small window, but in that small window, please connect with your group and start working on how you're going to do it. Okay. Let me share the presentation on organizational control. Yeah, I stopped sharing because I saw something in my laptop which is very interesting, and I want to share that with you first. Can you see this? What do you understand? I think it's very clearly written there, but it's very beautiful. Look at this. This is a drop of water on a leaf, and there are 12 ants drinking that water from the leaf. The amazing thing is how they have divided into 4 groups. 3 ants, each to balance the leaf so that the water drop will not slide away. Small wonders of nature never cease to amaze. And this is the type of coordination we need amongst people. But people become very selfish, right? Here you see such a beautiful picture of an insect which does not have the thinking capability of humans. But look at how beautifully they have coordinated in order to preserve that water that they want to drink. How do they support one another is a beautiful example here, which we fail to understand as humans. So please do understand that the teamwork, the project that is given to you is for the benefit of all, for everyone's understanding, and you need to do it together. And you need to plan as to how you can do it together. So planning is what is here in the form of the ants who have divided them into 3 in each group. Okay. So I just wanted to share this beautiful example with you all. I could see it in my laptop. So this presentation is straight from Michael Hitt's book, okay? I've not made any changes to this presentation because I just picked it up from there, from Michael Hitt's book. So every organization has to use, so I was asking you initially, why do you think this should come in strategies? Isn't it? Why should an organizational structure and controls come in strategies is what my question was. Now, every organization uses strategies, right? Could be business level strategies or could be corporate level strategies, could also be functional level strategies. This is how we are dividing strategies. And if you look at organizational structure and controls, actually that itself is the framework of how an organization functions and what are the competencies and resources and skills used by the organization. which again comprises of your structure and controls, which uses all the infrastructure and the capabilities of the organization. So it's a framework within which you need to build strategies, be it business level, corporate level, or functional level. And that is why you need organizational structure. And there are certain controls that make the structure more impactful or effective. I'm in a class. Anything important?
No, that's not so. I cannot read that.
Yeah, that's fine. So what does it actually specify? So organizational structure specifies firms' formal reporting relationships. So we talked about hierarchy. We all had a fair understanding about what is structure. It could also be relationships, manager, subordinate, okay, CEO, MD, chairman, president. So all these are relationships in an organization. You won't say brother, sister, uncle, auntie. You will have relationships that are designations, right? And then there are also controls. And controls is something that brings in certain discipline in organization, a form of proper processes. Who will know better than operations guys? Because I think controls is a very important part of operations management, right? How do you really create a balance, create the right processes, build in the best of quality? All this is controls, right? Authority and decision making processes, because all this also leads to certain decisions which are part of strategies and which become important for this organization to grow. So work to be done and how to do it, both are part of organizational structure. Effective use of the firm's strategies facilitated when structure is properly aligned. So when there is a proper structure to the organization, you can also see that the organization functions well. But if the structure is broken, if the structure is not stable, then the organization crumbles. Structural stability. Consistently and predictably, it is managing its daily work routines. Structural flexibility. Opportunity to explore competitive advantages, needing to take risk, okay, looking at the future and planning or having foresight in their plans. Pioneer Alfred Chandler found organizations change their structures when inefficiencies force them to do so. So many a time organizations would change their structure when they realize that there are certain inefficiencies. So what is controls? So we talked about structure, now we talk about controls. Control is where you are guiding the strategy, guiding the use of strategy, bringing about a proper process involved in even formulating the strategy. So there is something like planning, formulating, and executing the strategy, right? So which if you can recollect, I talked about the three-legged stools. And I said plan, formulation, and implementation. All three are crucial when it comes to strategy. So controls, it is actually the complete formulation of strategy. How to properly use the strategy is controls. Indicates how to compare actual results with expected results. That means you're already planning, having a foresight, a vision, and accordingly you're creating corrective actions so that you do not repeat your mistakes of the past. So mainly two types of controls are strategic control, financial control. Why financial control is put separately is because financial controls has a major part to play in the organization's success. That is why we have divided this into strategic and financial. So when we say strategic, it could again be business level, corporate level, or functional level. Functional level again is overall, could be also financial a part of functional level, but financial holds a lot of importance in controls, because if you are going beyond your budget and you do not have the money, then your whole organization will fail to exist. Right? So that is why financial controls is a major component of any kind of organizational structure and controls. So when we talk about, again, strategic controls, largely subjective criteria intended to verify that the firm is using appropriate strategies for the conditions in the external environment and the company's competitive advantages. As I've always mentioned, that whenever we implement strategies, we always have to look at whether we do have those competencies, whether we have those capabilities, the resources, right? So strategies are again very much connected to the infrastructure, that is the resources. Resources are your infrastructure, right? So resources can be infrastructure, which is your tangible resource. It can also be intangible resource. So it is resources, then whether you have the strength, the capabilities, right? So looking at whether you have the capabilities and whether you have the competency to continue. And that's what is organizational controls, where you have strategies to determine how you need to move forward using these using the assets and capabilities of the organization. Financial controls. Now, when we talk of financial controls, if you remember the definition of strategy, right? It always talks about above average returns, right? Taking necessary steps in order to gain above average returns, could be differentiating the product or right? So that above average returns, which is governing strategies, also becomes part of your organizational control, a very important part of organizational control, which is called financial controls. That means you're also focusing on your financial outcome. You're looking at all those decisions which could be risky decisions that you will be taking for the organizations, but is it worth taking that decision, right? I think many a times for us to take a decision becomes very difficult. And when we say decision, it could also be out of making the right choice, isn't it? In life, we always have choices, but it's up to us how we make the right choice. So I remember once, Gaur Gopal Das talking about right choices, making the right choices. You all know Gaur Gopal Das?
Yes, ma'am. He's a modern
Right.
monk.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, modern monk. Nice definition. So he talks about, a man who is very thirsty, walking in the desert, looking for water. And he feels that if he's not going to have water now, he's going to die anytime. And he also feels very helpless. Okay, a big dilemma. What do I do? How do I live? There's no water in sight. And suddenly he notices a small hut in the desert. He can't believe it. He thinks it's a mirage. And he's unable to believe it till he walks close to the hut and he touches it and he realizes, yes, this is a real hut. He expects that, inside the hut, there will be some water for him to drink. He looks around the empty hut and then he finds a water pump. Okay. So what he does is he goes to the water pump, very thirsty, thanking that, yes, there is a water pump, I'll get some water. He starts working on the pump, but what happens? No water. There is no water in the pump. So he sits down with his hand on his head, feeling very helpless, thinking that I saw the hut, I became happy, I came in, I saw the water pump, I was still happier. But now I'm again left with no water and I can't quench my thirst. That means I'm going to die in this hut. And at that time, when he's looking around, he suddenly notices a bottle. Okay. And then he see it's a transparent bottle with a little water in it. So he realizes that, oh yes, there is still a savior in the form of a bottle which has got water in it. So he runs, picks up that bottle. The bottle has got a cork. Okay. And in the cork, there is a small note which is attached. He opens the bottle. He wants to drink the water, but he first wants to read what is written in the note. And when he reads it, it says, use this water to pour into the pump so that the pump starts working. And then you would get water and fill the bottle back with water. Tell me, what would you all do? Will you drink the bottle, the water from the bottle, or you will go to the pump, pour water, and wait for the water to come?
Ma'am, I will wait for the water to come.
Okay, so you will try it on the pump itself, is it?
Yes,
Teja?
ma'am.
Ma'am, I will drink the water, ma'am. I can't see the physics out of it, how it will come. So I have trust issues. So I will have the water myself.
Okay. Anybody else? If you're not gone off to sleep and not heard the story.
Second option, ma'am.
Aishwarya, drink the water, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so what this man did was, because it was written in the note that use the water, and then the pump would give you water, fill the water, and leave it for the next traveler to come to the hut. Okay, so it was like he was hesitant to drink that water, though it was a matter of life and death, because if he doesn't drink the water, he would die. But he took that bottle of water and poured it into the pump, and he prayed to God. Okay, and he started working on the pump. Water started gushing out.